and the scene is set in the establishment called the Eagle. It is a lounge bar in the downtown area, close to the bay. Inside, we find Natalia waiting. She's arrived maybe 15 minutes ago. She's not looking at her computers for a change. She's sitting, contemplating. She looks as though she's deeply in thought of something, or someone maybe. But she is definitely waiting for someone.
Stefan continues his walk through New Sarum's rather beautiful downtown district from south from where he lives. It's been several minutes since he sent a text to Natalia telling her to meet him at the Eagle Lounge. About this time, the signage starts coming into view. The building shortly after that, and within the next 5 minutes or so, give or take, he walks through the door, and he greets people as he's on his way in. Bartender from his previous visit, maybe a doorman, but other than that, he pays really no attention and begins looking around.
As usual, as Stefan has found out, that Natalia seems to keep to a corner, or at least to her very much to herself. She's situated in a corner at the far end. She seems to be somewhat preoccupied, so she does not see you enter. So you have a really good opportunity to freak her out if you want
to. Stefan enters that section. Well, let's see. Attempts to see if he can find a nice little avenue to basically do his thing as usual. It's gonna cooperate. Holy crap! He does actually manage to find a nifty out of sight area, and he just more or less slides out of sight, out of mind, but at the same time as though he's always been there to anyone observing. He approaches the table, the bench in the booth opposite Natalia, and sits down.
Now you're this close, you can see Natalia has a pen and a block piece of paper, like some drawing book or something. It's lined paper, but she's writing stuff down in it. It's fairly ordered. It's a feminine writing. But it's fairly structured actually, which maybe not fit her too much, but she seems to be like write maybe 2 sentences and then she sits and waits for a moment.
Let's see if I manage to keep from breaking Ob 2. Because this is always fun once in a while. Well, come on, Mr. Hangouts. Uno, dos. No, 2 successes. 6s don't count. And he just kind of sits without, moving too much or creaking the seat, or brushing his foot against hers. He just kind of looks at what she has written down, as if taking mental notes.
Some of it is not something you'll be able to read unless you can read Ukrainian or something that would appear Russian to you. This seems to be it's not something she's just written. This is it's you can see this paper she's writing on now. It has like a paragraph, short paragraph of something that you don't really recognize. Then there's a line, a couple of lines, and then she started it, but it looks older than what she's written right now. And, it's just the passages of lines.
And all in Cyrillic?
And it's bullet points. There's one line that says status on Roy. There's one status on holiday, or something to that effect. Stay away from Cheiron. That's another bullet point. And then there's a bullet point that says Sack. It just says Sack, and then maybe it's a little muttered. She's written something and then like drawn it out and just is sitting with that. That's the last point. She's sitting and just feels as though she's maybe writing a few words, but she can't really find out what to write. But something like that.
Interesting. Well, I still sit there, more or less, out of sight, out of mind. I'm going to... Stefan's gaze is going to turn from the composition book to Natalia, her face, her body language, to see, using Aspects 2, to see what her emotional state is. Difficulty for this, I believe, is it's 7.
I would not say you need. You see what you see, main color and number 2, right?
It's the aura itself, of course. That's no surprise to me. And predominant emotion. One predominant emotion.
A predominant emotion is, well, tense, you would probably say. Tense or not agitated. She's not angry. Well, that's not something you can really see, but she seems a bit tense.
Good evening, Natalia. And
Stefan, please.
As if
maybe I haven't told you, but please. I mean, Mort does it sometimes to me, and like really, I don't get used to it. Please. And she actually, it takes like a couple of seconds, but she just smiles. It's good to see her. Just I've really never gotten used to it, so.
It is
please, it's okay. Just give me a second. Okay.
I couldn't help but notice your avid note-taking. Of course, I will not say anything. It is your business, unless
Well, let's just to remind myself what if you must know, it's what I would like to speak with you about, besides, of course, having my little electronic friend back, of course.
Of course.
That was mainly the reason we needed to meet. Handy thing, but sadly, due to last night's events, no use. How is Howard holding up?
Oh, I have not seen him since the night before last. I unfortunately felt it was, fortunately for me, felt it was necessary to make my egress from the area, and No, it
Like
was good
it's
to have a walking partner. That is why Roy was not seen before everyone else also exited.
well, at least there's someone he gets along with. I hope. I don't. He did not piss you off, but well.
Hmm. No, I usually try to make it take a lot more than just
You know,
simple.
he actually did threaten Howard. For no real reason, but just threatened him because he didn't want to do anything himself. I really am having a hard time dealing with that asshole.
Well,
Anyways, have you heard anything about him? I mean, is he going to be reprimanded now or what?
I have not heard anything as of yet. But then, you know, amongst my own, I am not entirely privy to a whole lot of information, given
Yeah.
certain, I guess you could say, political status.
Yeah, I know. We are in, guess, the same position somehow. One way
But
or
as far as Howard being threatened to do something which, well, he may or may not have been all too willing to do himself, you do have to admit that Roy was being quite true to his own gene pool.
well,
And
I
although
would.
Howard is a lot
Yeah,
closer,
the man is not going to win any IQ contest unless it's primates, other primates who are not human. He's contesting against them. We do there, but well, this is
indeed.
not to create mud in any way, but he may not be, had the best opportunities thrown at him from, the great chance game that is life, but he at least can be professional. At least he can be considerate. At least he can work. At least he can do some things when needed. He has done quite good for a man in his stature. But Roy, apparently, will not only be clueless, but he will also go out of his way to piss other people off because he cannot work. And that is really where I have the problem.
Well, maybe it isn't that he is unwilling to work. Maybe it is that he is more apt to pick his jobs carefully. And that I cannot fault him for. As far as
No, but
Howard,
why should there be an exception in his case and none of us else would have that exception?
well,
I don't choose what I do. I get pointed out by my superiors. They tell me to do something, and I do it unless I really want to be in trouble real fast.
if what I have heard is true, his political status is much the same as mine in the city. And in that case, you may not be aware, but I I pick what I do because it is in my best interest to decide how it is I wish to go about proving myself more or less true.
But think of it this way. You actively went in for multiple reasons, but one reason was to keep stability. You did not have to do it. You did it. You helped out Zack and Mortimer, solved their differences without going to violence. Very admirable thing. You chose well, I would say, and I still would like to thank you for it. But I don't think Roy is going to do that, and that is a big problem, because if we had more like you, we would have more people who wanted stability. No stability is going to come from him. You do realize that, don't you?
Of course, of course.
And
And
that is my major problem.
myself and Axel have discussed this at length with Mutt. Apparently, Mutt is not too happy with Roy either because he attempted to cause him to lose face within the city. Um,
It caused him to frenzy, as far as I heard.
there was there were no outside eyes on him, were there?
No, it's not a problem. But the problem is that it's in the middle of Top Deep, which is owned by a grandchild of the prince, as far as I know.
Hmm.
you know, consideration, a bit of, due diligence, I think it's called, is good. It's very good in very many situations. It's not something within his, shall we say, skill set. And you,
Well,
you can tell at this point Natalia is visibly shifted to angry or like agitated. She's not enjoying discussing this guy. But
Stefan reaches one hand out to place on hers. Natalia, please. There's no need to be upset. You are not amongst enemies whatsoever.
I know.
Now,
If I
as far
had
as
been,
Howard is concerned,
hmm,
Howard allowed himself to be bullied, and I believe it has a lot to do with his own personal beliefs about our condition.
hmm,
And he does not know the full breadth of what we are capable of at the baseline. If whatever Howard is, if he has been put through anything, if he has been, well, more or less placed himself on the radar of our superiors, then I believe maybe it could be for the best for him, regardless of the outcome. I do not believe it will result in his end. That would be too unfortunate and too much of a waste. As far as Roy is concerned, Axel is not pleased, and thus I have worked with him before. I continuously work with him, and we have a little bit of a how can you say it, a lesson for Mr. Roy in the best interest of us and Mutt's kin, and for Mutt himself.
well, I'll tell you one thing. If you need help, well, I actually would almost pay to be a part of it. She says with a smile on her face, but she also, but seriously now, she passes her courage roll with flying colors. It's actually also as much as I feel responsible. I I involved, well, I allowed people to get involved, and I allowed. Well, she looked. Zach is a good guy. I know you really don't like him too much, given your situation with each other. I can see why, but he is a good guy. He means well. He's just a little too eager to take initiative, which comes back to bite him in the ass, I think, more than often.
I,
But
I have allowed that bit of animosity to flow under the bridge.
hmm, I wanted to discuss it with him.
It is quite
Would you mind if I called him? You know,
no,
just the
no.
three of us
By
to
all
just.
means, by all means.
Yeah,
The
because
more
we
the
need to
merrier.
discuss it. I mean, I want to get some things out of the way. It was partly my fault. I mean, I was the one who was so stupid to come up with a plan and think it through. And yeah, I mean, I should have, maybe discussed it a bit more with Zach. Of course, we had very limited time. But she mumbles a bit, just like one moment, and she puts out her smartphone and sends a message to Zach. Do you have a second, or do you have a half an hour? Here with Stefan, the Eagle, uh, downtown, and just the last thing is a quick discussion of recent days developments, something in that way.
Yeah, Zach will message that he'll be right there. And within the next 10-15 minutes, Zach will wander in. Looking
Meanwhile,
about as tired as a Kendrick can get, actually.
while you're on your way, Natalia and Stefan, Natalia will small talk. She'll talk about mostly about what Stefan knows of Howard and what his impression is um, of Roy and Howard, more specifically. Uh, since we have already covered that, let's for the sake of convenience say that time advances and not really much is learned more, since Stefan has already spoken and said most of what he knows.
Mhm.
So at this time, Stack will arrive.
Yeah. A step before Zach enters again, looking tired. Maybe he's spent one blood point too many. Maybe he's just been looking human for a bit too long, or maybe it's just the recent night's just wearing on him. Either way, something about him just marks him as just being a little bit exhausted. Maybe it's the fact that he works 2 jobs. Who knows? Tends to wear on once around.
Natalia
His way over to the table though.
when he gets over to the table, she'll just scooch in. She won't comment on how he looks. She'll just, please sit down.
Yes. So you could enjoy a night of ease with such lovely company.
I appreciate that, Stefan, and I apologise for what happened last night.
Well,
It was largely my responsibility, and I have to accept that. So,
when you do not have much more to go on than what you did, I suppose if it was calculated enough for you, then it is fine. But given the situation, it was not in my best interest to do anything that would have looked
I know well. Let's just say, without going into too much detail, I didn't have the luxury of time. I mean, breaking into a giant multinational corporation, generally, I mean, if someone's going to do that, they take a while to think it through. Unfortunately, I didn't. Due to certain circumstances outside my control, I couldn't really handle it. Couldn't really do that. To be honest, I think I'm just going to step outside this kind of shit for a while. I'm too busy and I'm too tired to deal with this now. But yes, I apologize. Right, yeah, oh. I think, yeah, I can put you in contact with, my friend who can maybe secure a loan to your little cabbie business if you want. Normally I'd charge something for that, especially given what another friend, well, try to squeeze money out of my allies. Try to, well, threaten him. Usually I charge pretty highly for this sort of thing, but considering what happened, I'll just make it free.
No, I have been meaning to get in contact with a recent acquaintance of mine, but yeah, I'm still looking to put into place step one. This is plan, but having a loan available is definitely not a bad thing to have on the back burner.
Doors are open if you wish to use them. I was also wondering, this is gonna sound fucking odd. But to be honest, I'm kinda... well, last night we kinda passed the point of subtlety, and I'm not really through with that yet, so do you know where I can buy a fucking steak from someone?
I look at trees. Trees, and he reaches into his pocket and he pulls out what looks like a Leatherman multi-tool and a good blade. Then folds it back.
I mean, yeah. If you could make one for me, I'd appreciate it. I'd certainly pay you well for it. Just self-defense. I mean, Fuck. Seems to be any more enemies around every corner these nights. Not just us. It's getting boring keeping track of them all at this point.
I can see what I can do. Most of my tools are more suitable for stonework, but wood is not going to. It's not going to dull my chisels.
Well, you made that kick-ass limb for Damien.
Yes.
Made mostly out of wood, wasn't it?
And Mr. Black has not been seen around since.
Mm.
But what am I going to expect from somebody who has the passion of a mealworm?
Mm. Yeah. Oh, and if you run into Martin Axel, tell him I apologise for all the shit that I pulled.
I'm sure Axel is going to be most pleased and enthused. But you know how he generally feels about.
Yeah, it's fucking. I'll just be blunt. He's a fucking hypocrite when it comes to that shit.
Not so much a hypocrite. No.
The
would
guy that
say,
cares about everyone, so long as they're not Ventrue, yeah, it doesn't strike me as fucking
conflicted.
dualistic as shit.
Quite conflicted. I believe there must have been something that was done to him on a personal level at some point, but I have no proof.
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna go there. Either way, I've tried leveling with him on numerous occasions. I'm even working together on him on a little something. No favors, just pure cooperation. Still hates me. Starting to get tired of it, to be honest. And I'm running out of patience for the past few months. Maybe that's my problem, but
I'm sure given the recent newspaper article, I am almost certain that those such as Miss Goodchild, who doesn't like to associate with the Harpy, probably may have conflicted views with regards to you, but
I understand. I don't really care, to be honest. I've been trying to get into contact with some people to try and solve a little problem. She hasn't really given me anything to go on at all. This is kind of a problem with our little society. When they want you to do shit but don't want to tell you anything about it, it makes it kind of difficult to perform the fucking task. And he says that with a tinge of pretty serious derision, like he's been through that more than once.
You can. Zachary will probably not look at this. He's quite focused, but you can see, Stefan, that Natalia just begins to have like a sincere smile on her face. It's not mischievous. It's more like a sad smile almost. It's quite subtle, but she's not hiding it, so you don't have to roll for it. But she just has like this sad but yet a smile, and she turns her head a bit away from Zach and just looks out the window and just seems she's been listening to you. She's been participating in that way, but now she seems to grow a bit distant. You will notice that.
Yeah, Stefan just catches it out of his peripheral vision. Doesn't really turn his head at all. Though. But who were you undertaking this bit of business for?
Fuck. Well, past the point of caring at this point, really keeping it much of a secret. It's not like it was much of a secret to begin with. The Harpy set the task and told like 4 people at once. If it's not out in the street, then I know that she's either she's very good at keeping secrets, or she's not doing her job, depending on your perspective. She wants me to go see Kendall about something.
Kendall.
You know, the guy who makes these pornographic movies got nominated Best Director or something.
There was something in the paper not too long back, quite a party, I believe.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna see if I can meet up with him and have a chat with him about some things. I don't really want to go into too much detail about it, but yeah. She wants me to go see him, do her thing. In exchange, she gives me a minor boon. She seems a little bit impatient at this point. Well, it's pretty fucking hard getting into contact with this guy. He seems to be off the radar, but... And I'm like trying to solve 10 different problems at once right now, not including which is working 2 different jobs and setting up your own business, which is kind of fucking time-consuming. I'm sorry I'm ranting. It's just...
Well, you know where this person is, I'm assuming.
No, it wouldn't be hard to find him, or at least where he works. At least, I mean, you can give it a shot if you want. I mean,
Well,
I am. We can even go together if you really want to undertake the endeavor. She did employ numerous individuals to undertake this task, but including Mr. Holiday, I believe. But I haven't been able to really. Well, the last time I saw him was, you know, back at the old botched gun and firearm incident, and well, the other individuals haven't really done anything at all, and I've just been busy trying to get all my own pieces in place before I do anything, which is what I normally do, because obviously, I mean, you just saw what happened last night. What happens when I'm forced to rush things? Things don't really go that way. Granted, Mr. Marshall didn't really help that.
and given the fact that you have so many things on your plate, so to speak, what is it what you said, Miss Goodchild? What was her interest in this this man's pornographer?
Oh, you'd probably be better off asking her, to be honest. I don't really... I mean, if you want to tag along, I'll tell you what it is, because I mean, she's gonna eventually, if we do actually pull this off, she'll owe you. And to be honest, it shouldn't be that big a deal. So I mean, you can come along if you want, and then I'll give you the details. If you're not, well, I mean, it's a matter of, it's kind of a need to know thing. I apologize. I'm kind of being a hypocrite right now. You know, I was just complaining about people not really telling others how to do stuff, but not giving them all the details, and I'm kind of doing the same thing, but at the same time,
Then allow me to. This may be a little unorthodox, but allow me to sweeten the pot a little bit for you. There is some kind of interest that she has. Maybe she, I don't know, wants to know something about him. Maybe she wants something that he has. I don't know, whatever the case may be. How about, I owe you personally a minor boon.
Really? Wow, that's very generous of you. Alright then. Well, if you insist, yeah, sure. I'm very bribable. Just kind of gives a very short laugh at that. Basically, she Fraser wouldn't tell me who, but Mr. Dole has some blackmail material on one of her friends, and she wants it back. She would give me the name. And of course, that makes. I mean, this is a guy who makes illicit material for a living, so I mean, getting him to actually appropriately messaging him about what I want and why might be a bit tricky. I don't know the name, but he should be able to piece it together, I'm certain. She doesn't want it released. She wants it back. She wanted me to ask Freyland politely. I don't exactly know what that means, other than just...
This is documentation, or...
it's a tape. So
Oh.
it's footage. So, yeah. She wants it back. She would owe the individuals involved in minor boon, I believe. She, as I already said, she employed multiple kindred to do this, so it's basically spread out. Of course, if one person does it, then she wins a little more, obviously, because she owes less people.
Curious.
A little tired of her fucking attitude.
Well,
The position is an
Well,
interesting
we've heard
one.
it. Well, that's
It's
new.
then given the nature of this, one person can act as a face, somebody who can distract his eyes. Another person could, how can you say?
Well, keep in mind we don't know where the footage is. We'd need to find that out first. That's our main issue. If we knew where it was, then it would just be a case of smash and grab, depending on how silly you want to be about it.
Of course. But it at least gives somebody time to saunter about in an unseen type of fashion.
Of course.
To be able to find it. Yeah. Keep me apprised when you go. When you wish to go meet this Mr. Doll. Yes, keep me apprised on it, and yes, I will join you on this.
Okay, yeah, sounds good. Alright, yeah. As I was saying, Miss Goodchild's position seems to be an interesting one from about 4 different angles.
Quite a scandal, it sounds like.
It's not just that, it's, how to put it? I guess it's just, I guess it's connected to the root of how little society works. Her opinions matter, like she says, but they also don't. Which is, if you know what I mean. She doesn't exactly set policy or anything. She basically is the person you go to for news and to talk shit to. But that's it. Yeah, it's being able to sway people's opinions of power. Well, being able to set the court of public opinion is yes, an asset, but at the same time, at the end of the day, a lot of people hold their own opinions that aren't going to be easily swayed anyway. I mean, yeah, they may agree with you on the surface, but who's to say they actually agree with you beneath that? I mean, bloody hell, that's pretty much all of this.
Are her opinions important to the court?
Well, depends on your plan. It's supposedly important to us because we're at the bottom of the totem pole. Above that, I'm not certain. To be honest, the ones above seem independent enough that they don't really care. They seem to do their own thing, which isn't really my concern as long as it doesn't get in my way. In which case, I don't really give a fuck how old you are. If you're in my way, then that's a problem. I need to sort it out. Maybe we could sort it out through words. Prefer it wouldn't come to violence because I'm not a violent man.
That is quite a risky position that you put yourself in thought.
Well, I mean, yeah, if they give the orders, then that's fine. As long as they respect my right to do as I will. Of course, if I get in their way, then I understand their concern. In which case, I'll quickly get out of their way. But if they get in my way for no reason, well, then that's an abuse of your position. As far as I'm concerned, you don't really deserve that position if you're just going to flagrantly abuse it. And to be honest, well, presumably...
I am no expert. I don't know much about politics, but isn't corruption all part of that game?
Shouldn't be. Or at least that's what's said. If it is, then it doesn't really matter what the reality is. At the end of the day, if you say it shouldn't be, then it shouldn't be. Yeah, people should show some, how to put it, commitment to their own cause, or shut up. Right now, regarding what just happened last night, I'm willing to shut up. Because, frankly, I failed and everyone knows that. I overstepped my bounds, and that's my problem. It's fair enough. But if people are going to walk around talking about how idealistic they are and about how much we should care and how we should make this world a better place, when no, you're not, you're just lining your own pockets, in which case that person can go suck a proverbial dick. I guess. I mean, as much as Adito's presumptions sometimes piss me off, at least he's not a hypocrite about it. You know, he shows some proper dedication and loyalty to what he believes in. I can respect that.
Ardito.
Turret. He's new.
Oh.
New kid.
Right. See.
Yeah. Tends to.
At least if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, he tends to buy into the stereotypes, maybe a little bit too much, but yeah, he's a good kid, you know? And I think he's actually probably going to go places, because he's pretty, well, I mean, he was turned for a reason. He was employed for a reason, and he certainly seems to know what he's doing, at least to some extent or another. And we seem to have ironed out the kinks of him, I believe. At least I try to you know, give him a little hand there and there, you know, about how to you know, language use. Don't give the game away. Like
Also, did he attend this little meeting?
Yeah, although he was concerned that people were gonna get killed. Not us per se, but you know, the people we were going after were gonna die. So he was out. Fair enough to him. That's a valid criticism.
Good for him.
I don't really have a concern with people opting out as long as they give a reason. Mark was cordial enough to send a representative. Now, granted, that was the biggest asshole this side of New Sarum, so
now,
I'm not sure what to make of that.
Did Mutt apparently send him before or after Roy decided to, I don't know, embarrass him a little bit?
I don't know. What do you mean, embarrass him?
Oh, well, you mentioned something about Mutt's frenzy in Club Deep. That is quite the hip club, and Roy would not be outside of that audience.
Oh, for fuck's sake, yeah. Yeah, I'm willing to bet that he caused that like the fucking idiot that he is. He seems to go out of his way to piss everyone off, whether since it's his intention or not. I believe it is his intention at this point.
I got out, well, I was there, to be honest. Natalia breaks in, she's been quite quiet for some time. I was there, he pissed me off. I managed to contain myself, but I got out of there because I knew he wasn't going to stop being in there, so...
He needs to be taught a lesson.
Yeah.
Don't get to disrespect everyone in the city and get away with it.
No, that's, I mean, okay, if he was competent, and if he was willing to work like, well, like I believe I do, and many others do, that's fine. But if you're going to go out of your way to piss people off, and then be a complete dick blister and threaten other people if you don't want to do something, that's when you begin to become an unstabilizing element. And an unstabilizing element is quite another thing. And that's one of the real reasons I really do not like it.
Well,
of course,
that's
this
the
is
problem. It causes
all,
trouble.
What exactly did he do to irritate you, Natalia?
Well, he commented that. Well, he first of all he said, why shouldn't we go to the bathroom and have some good time or something like that. And then he asked about if I couldn't, constant, sexual innuendo, well, that's, I mean, I've quote, but he just wouldn't stop. I mean, I tried to tell him quickly, like, okay, don't bother. And he kept going and going, and then at some point he just said, well, show me your tits or something like that. And I had to leave shortly after that, or else I would have, bitten off some handle or begun to eat the upholstery or something, because he would not stop. And I even had other people trying to tell him, but he didn't listen to them. One of them was apparently his friend that didn't listen to him either. Just kept going. So I said, well, fuck this, I'm out. And I left. Apparently after that, Mutt was there, and I don't think he was too pleased. I mean, him and I do business from time to time. And, well.
Let me, how to say, compare and contrast Mutt and Roy. Mutt, yes, he's a street fighter. He knows what he's doing. He's got his head on straight. Keeps things on the level. He commits himself to making sure that trouble doesn't start. And ultimately, more or less, even if he doesn't think the same with me, is an alright guy. Roy, I got to mince words. Guy's a selfish cunt. He's nothing but a thug, dumb muscle, dime a dozen, nothing more, and causes trouble.
But
excuse my French.
When confronted by this thug, Natalia did she did react in a rather mature and ladylike fashion, and thus, she knew how to handle it around him. That is laudable. Howard needs to learn these kind of lessons, which I hope he does. He does not have much of a backbone at all. He does not accept that this condition is irreversible. He believes that he can solve it like any other scientific riddle in a laboratory.
I got that impression. He seems like a forthright man, if a little misguided, but that's a fixable issue. That's not something that we really need to be too concerned with.
No.
He seems to be honest and forthcoming. I can respect that. At least he commits to what he's saying. But
Indeed.
also it's for a martial guy. Guy came because he wanted to steal some shoes. Waste of space, if you ask me. It's petty as shit.
No.
So as I'm concerned, he's not really. I'm heavily questioning why he was given our condition, unless he's just given it on the spot.
At least.
How do you think he came here? I think, to be honest, someone saw something in him, used whatever they needed to use him for, and then shipped him off because they knew he was a liability. So it's like, go here and stay away from me.
Sounds like the most
possibility.
Anyway, guys.
Though his aims are petty, he is still industrious, and he still does what he needs to do to try to get by. But it is getting, on to being late, and I must be off to work for the evening.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you for talking with me. I know I vented a lot this evening, and yeah, I'd like to apologize again. But yes, hopefully we can resolve this Mr. Kendall situation together, all three of us. know that things are a little suspect over there, but we should be able to deal with it regardless.
Stefan gets up from his seat at the moment. Zachary, do have a pleasant evening, and I do hope that, with warm tidings and good blessings, your situation is continuous. And he turns and walks out the door, or toward the door.
Good evening to you too, Stefan. You will just come as she just she doesn't. If you look back, she doesn't look angry or something. She knows that she's been quiet, so it's not that. But she just makes a point of it.
Yeah, Zach.
And she waves at you as he goes by, and then she just turns to Zach and says,
Zach just holds his hand up, not really waving, just seeing you off again. He looks a little. He's more energized than he was before. Again, he's loosened up a bit now. He's had some time to reflect, some time to talk. Maybe everything's not as doom and gloom as he's been seeing it recently. And again, yeah, he's too tired to wave at you, but he'll just kind of look. He'll put in the effort to at least look at you as he puts his hand up to see you off, and then he'll just as you leave, he'll just sit down. Well, he won't sit down. He'll just rest his head almost clumsily on his fist, essentially. His clenched hand.
hell of a couple of nights, huh? Hell of a week, isn't that what they say? Ugh. I really, really hope that this Roy guy gets reined in soon.
Fuck it. I'm just gonna look into try and avoid. Just us, right? Not us. You know what I mean, like others right now. I don't have time for. I'm not really interested in these politics anymore. I'm just. It's dull, and it's all about, oh my god, every night this whole society and family just seems to matter a little bit less every night.
She just like grabs your chin, sort of say, and just lightly turns your head towards her. You make more and more sense every day, Zach. She has a slight smile on her face. It's like, there's a reason, and I keep telling you this, but there was a reason I left the city and came here. And you seem to be learning quite fast why that reason. Well, one major reason why that was.
You are a terrible influence on me.
And I'm proud of it. She smiles. She seems actually, for the first time, like a little melancholy, but actually seemed happy.
Zach
but one thing at a time. One thing at a time. We should probably. Yeah, I'm going to avoid as much attention as possible because a little.
Just get this. Well, hopefully. Oh God, I need to send a text, and Zach just sends a text to his to Simon Valentine, basically saying the Cheiron issue is resolved. Not really saying it's a dead end at all. Yeah, he just sends a text to Simon Valentine, basically saying that Cheiron issue is resolved. It's like, okay, that's one issue down. He just kind of slams the phone down on the table. Guess we should just deal with this Kendall crap, and then I can just focus on my own thing. Maybe just ignore try to block out all the other bullshit that's going on. And that's the thing. It's just well, I mean, I guess what confuses me is that you would notice it's pretty obvious as why that he didn't tell Stefan this. It's because obviously what he's about to say is potentially very dangerous, and it's all why are we even with like why are we part of
There was really
a
no other
family
choices
anyway?
there.
What I don't understand is that they call themselves a family, but it feels like it's more. They do that because it's more politically expedient for them to
She's
say that.
speaking only. She just you know
Why just not
family.
make it
Well,
like a
in the
real?
sense of a mob family, sure. But
Why not just make it like a political party or something? Because that's what it seems to be all the time. It's just all politics. It doesn't really matter. It's like, yeah, you're your family, and you're still trying to one up each other and screw each other all the time. So it's not really, much much point to
well,
it. It's
the only
again, it's just
alternative apparently has been, shall we say, removed from the city. So that's not really a point.
yeah. Kevin's. He's. Let's be honest. He's you and Kevin, and real family. Prescott. I had to. I haven't told you, have I? Prescott actually must be big. Fat twat.
I haven't made my mind up about him yet.
Well, he
He
tried
seems like a
to.
normal Ventrue.
Well,
That's not that praise for me, but
fuck me. He has. Well, he has one of my friends. Who's still bright up and early, so to speak. He sent him. I basically gave him one of my contacts. To be honest, he's closer to a friend. In good faith to investigate People's Army. Thing is, well, he was paid. He didn't pay up, and this friend of mine had to call me to make that happen. And then he proceeded to threaten my friend. Basically run him out of business, ruin his reputation, that sort of thing. Keep in mind, my friend is basically he sent my friend after a lynch mob. My friend could die, and actually he called
did he
me to
do
say
that,
that.
or did he do it, or did threaten it?
I'm inclined to believe Stephen over Prescott right now. This is before he didn't pay up. After, sorry. Sorry, my head's all over the place today. But that's the point is that he sent Stephen after a fucking lynch mob, basically potentially getting him killed. My Stephen phoned me to say that if he dies, I need to. Fuck. Funerals. If he die, I don't want him to. It's complicated. The point is that he sent my friend after a lynch mob, and he's right in the thick of it. And well, I'm supposed to look after his family if he kicks the bucket, so to speak.
Back now? Hasn't he gotten back by now, or is he just tailing them, or what? Send them after them. If it's a lynch mob, it's just a group. Then
Well, People's Army, that's what they fucking are. They lynch people on a TV broadcast. These aren't good people. They're just another fucking gang wanting an excuse to be a gang.
He sent them after those guys.
But yeah, he's sent him to look after the fucking general. And if that is who I think he is, then there's a good chance.
Shouldn't you say that has been handled? And you should. Where is he now?
I don't know. Stephen said he'd call me.
Get him to back off it. And if Alexander Prescott has any problems with it, you tell him to talk to you. He's off the case because it's solved.
Well, I've given Stephen most of the fucking money at this point, but Prescott owes me big for that. Not just for basically throwing my friend to the dogs and betraying, essentially attempting to fucking betray him, but also for betraying me. Because I gave him my friend under the trust that he wouldn't almost get him killed. And that's what he did. And he did it basically to save himself, a few grand?
Yeah. Well,
so, yeah, he was willing to kill a guy for
I'll
that.
repeat what I said just a moment ago. She smiles and just pats you on the cheek. Well, I'll get going. I'll see you later. Just
Yeah,
send me a
yeah.
message if there's anything, right?
Yeah, I'll try and get everything sorted out, and hopefully, I don't know, in a few weeks I could just have I don't know, I'm just just gonna call up my workplace to just say I'm taking a week off next week, because fuck, I'm too tired for this shit now. I would say I'm getting too old for this, but then I have eternity of this, so...
Yeah, well, I'll speak to you later. And she just gives you a hug and a kiss as she begins to get up.
Zach would blush at that, if he could, because he hasn't spent any blood. She says, "Oh, I'll see you later. I think I'm just gonna. Oh God, I may bloody collapse here. I'll try not to let that happen."
She smiles as she leaves and just waves very so slightly at you. As Natalia leaves the scene, Zach is left to his own thoughts and imaginations, and with that, I think this is a good place for the scene to end.
Zach